I have a little friend for us today who I found in the garden, because in my garden it's raining. Can you see what he is? That's it, he's a snail. And he's got a really big foot, and he's got two little eyes on antennae, and he's got two little nose tongues that he uses to smell and taste. And he likes to crawl around the garden. And his shell on his back is his house. He goes in there if he's scared or if he's going to sleep. Now, snails live in the garden. They don't live in the house unless they're a great big massive African giant land snail like Alan, who lives in my house. Snails live outside, and I've only brought him in for a little bit to show you. Do you know what snails eat? Snails eat cabbages and lettuces and all sorts of things like that. And their mouth is underneath on their big sticky foot. And in it they've got thousands of tiny teeth that they use to eat the lettuce and the carrots and the cabbage. They don't eat any meat at all, and they definitely don't hurt people. But you have to be really careful that they don't get their shell broken. If they get their shell broken, then they die, which is quite sad. Birds like to eat snails. They're one of snails' favourite food. So I thought today we could have a go at making our own snails. But this one needs to go back in the garden first, because one of the things we're going to use is salt, and that really hurts him. We don't want to hurt the snail. So I'm going to put him back in the garden first, okay? Oh, excuse me, put him back in the garden. So it's really important when you've been touching animals that you go and wash your hands. The first thing I've got to do is go and wash my hands. I will take you with me. Okay. So, I know you're really good at washing your hands. Can you remember the song we have to do when we do it? That's it. We go. Tops and bottoms, tops and bottoms, in between, in between. Rub your hands together, rub your hands together. Now they're clean, squeaky clean. Can you hear my hands squeaking? Yeah. And you should have lots and lots of bubbles in your sink. So give my hands a really good wash. You always wash your hands after you've touched animals. So what we're going to make our snail is really, really, really easy. We need 3 ingredients, okay? We need flour, salt and water. And just a cup to measure them in. There's no measurements. As long as you use the same cup for everything, it will work. So you can use any flour you want. It can be bread flour, plain flour, self-raising flour, potato flour, chickpea flour, corn flour, anything you want. I've got some old potato flour that needs using up, so I'm going to use that. So you can see mine's in the difference in Polish. Mine is my potato flour. I'm going to pour my potato flour all into my bowl in one go. Give it a tap to check it's all out, okay? It's all dusty. Now the next thing I need to add is my salt, and that's half a cup. So the flour was at the top, salt is halfway. Now if you have eczema or dry skin on your hands, you might want to ask your grown-ups to do this, or if you've got any open cuts, you might want to put a plaster on them, because the salt can sting and irritate your skin. So it's just halfway in this one, and then I'm going to pour it in. Now you need to give it a good mix with your hands, because you don't want just salt on top of the flour. So you need to give it a good mix with your fingers. It's not sticky, it's nice. Ooh, and soft. You can feel the rough salt grains in the soft flour. Can you feel it if you wiggle it between your fingers? That's it, you can wiggle it high and you can wiggle it low. Mine's really, really dusty because of the potato flour. Yours might not be as dusty as mine. Now, give your hands a little rub. They shouldn't be sticky yet. Now, what you need is some warm water. Not hot water, not cold water, warm water. So I'm going to get some warm water out the tap. Now, we need to add a little bit at a time. Those of you who like being messy can use your fingers. If you don't like being messy, you can use a spoon. You can use a mix. So I'm going to add a little bit, not all of it. Just 1, 2, 3. And then give it a stir in. Oh, it's already getting into bigger lumps. Add another 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And we're going to mix and mix. Oh, it's getting solid. I'm going to get my hands in there. Oh, it's getting all crunched up together. Makes a really nice crunchy noise. Can you see my mixtures are all starting to come together? So I'm going to put another 1, 2, 3 in. 1, 2, 3. Oh, mine smells of potatoes because I've got potato flour. Yours won't smell of potatoes. I wonder what yours does smell. It depends what flour you've used. So it should be starting to get really lumpy bumpy now. Some of you might just like playing with the dough as you're doing it, feeling the different textures. It's starting to come together. Look, I'm getting some big lumps now. It's not just little anymore, some big lumps. And then I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Whoa. Now, normal bread flour or cake baking flour will work better than potato flour. Potato flour tends to go quite solid, but it's a fun different texture to try. Okay, so you can see I've got my potato flour. Now, potato flour is a bit like corn flour. If you squeeze it, it goes hard. If you sit it on your hand, it goes soft and it runs through your fingers. Can you see it running through my fingers? Ooh. But I don't want it just to run through my fingers. I want to have a go at seeing if I can roll out a sausage shape with my potato flour. I don't know if it's going to work. It might just make me good at making a ball. Let's see. Oh, I've made a ball like a sphere. Maybe that could be my snail shell. What do you think? I think it could. I wonder if it would sit on my hand and start sliming out like a snail slime. It is. I don't think we've made a snail. I think we've made snail slime. See how it's flattening itself out? Oh, and it's stuck to my hand because it's got sticky. Ooh, is it going to fall off? Is it going to fall off? Shall we see? Ooh. So I've got my sticky snail shell ready. Okay. I'm going to put my sticky snail shell on the plate. And now I need to make my sticky snail body. So I don't really want a sphere for this. I really want a sausage shape for this. So I'm going to squeeze my together on my hand like that to make a sausage shape for my snail shell. So let's grab my shell. It's been squishing and squashing. Okay. I'm going to put my snail shell on the back of my snail. Yeah. Now we've got to remember our antennae. So we need his little eyes. Ooh. Let's put his shell on. Now if you've made this with normal flour, once you've made your snail, you can leave him out on the side and he'll go hard. And the next day, you can paint him. If you're like me and you've made out of corn flour or potato flour, you will find your snail will never go hard. And you'll be able to play with your corn flour again and again. Put your antennae on. Oh, can you see his eye? Yeah. Oh, it's falling off. It's going down like the snail's eyes go down. There's another antennae. It's very pale because mine's a white one because of the potato flour. So, see today, you can make some salt dough. You need, say, 1 cup of flour, half a cup of salt, and about half to 3/4 of a cup of water, but just a little bit at a time. You can make a ball, a sphere, snail, or you can roll yours up into a really long worm shape and then spiral it to to make the spiral shape on a snail shell. Or if you don't want to make anything out of your salt dough and you just want to play with it, you can just have a good squash and squeeze, because that makes your fingers really, really strong. If you make it out of potato flour or corn flour, it will feel really different to normal dough, and it will, as I said, flatten itself out and move. It moves very slowly, but you'll be able to see it sink and move on your fingers. Okay, enjoy yourself today. I'll also see if I can find some stories about snails to put on the website as well.